We don't let our hair grow long and shaggy like the hippies out in San Francisco do. Oh, I guess we do. Or at least I do, because I can't find the lady that cuts my hair. Her name is Angela. She lives at Lake Monticello. And if you know who she is, please tell me how to get in touch with her. Okay, this is Plain Jane in the living room. Now, if you would like, share, subscribe, any of that good stuff, I'd like you to do it before I make you angry from listening to this rant. We've got protests, riots, theft, looting, killing even. Ay, chihuahua. Oops, that's cultural appropriation, isn't it? Now, that's not my topic either. Almost worse than all of that, I'm not actually worse, but it bothers me more maybe, is to see people kneeling and begging forgiveness for things that they maybe never even did or thought of doing, simply because they are white and somehow they inherit all of this stuff that's been accumulating since 1619. Well, white privilege, you're supposed to acknowledge your white privilege, which does have its reality. It's in a collective sense, like white people as a group definitely had privileges that American Black people as a group did not have. Collective, not always individual. And it doesn't cover everything. And it's only one kind of privilege. Now, there are still people in this country, I would imagine, who grow up without associating with people of other races, enough for it to come naturally to them. I didn't speak to my first Black person until I was in high school. I was probably 14. And in my graduating class, my high school class of over 300 kids, there was one Black guy. And I probably said hi to him in the hallway. That was it. In college, there may have been a Nigerian ambassador's son who crossed the room and asked me to dance. Okay. It was not until I was about 22 and I worked as an assistant cook under a Black cook from Alabama that I actually associated in a closer way with any Black people. Imagine someone like me today. Someone who wants to do the right thing. Thank you, Spike Lee, for that phrase. They have to say, okay, now I'm going to go over and talk to that person who's in my class, maybe. I better study up, get my iPhone and study up on microaggressions. Okay, 1, 2, yeah. That one's kind of silly, but okay. Because I have to remember that I can commit a microaggression even accidentally. Although I wonder if it's aggressive, if it's accidental. Kind of doesn't go together. Oxymoronic, I would say. Gee, I hope I don't make a mistake. Okay, I'll go up. I'll acknowledge, if I have to give an opinion somewhere, I'll acknowledge my white privilege. Yeah, I guess I got to do that. And maybe I'll tell them that I'm on board with Black Lives Matter. Yeah. I voted for Obama. Yeah, I'll tell them that too. Now, how likely is this person to get along well in a natural way or in any way? I think of the choir at the church I attend in Charlottesville. It's 1/4 white Caucasian. The other 3/4 is non-white, including people from all over Asia, Black people from Africa, South America, and from here in Charlottesville, Virginia. Now, how in the world would they ever relate as brothers and sisters in Christ and sing in the same choir together if they had to follow all of that protocol? All those rules. Okay, now imagine you're Black, or you may be Black. You won't have to imagine. Do you really want extended conversation with this person that thinks it's a super big deal that requires a lot of background study just to talk to you? Now, I remember that for a while when I taught school, it was the thing to have the children in your class make your discipline plans. Okay, you would tell the little groups to write up their lists of what they thought should be on the list of rules. And then you would compile the main ones into a chart to put on the wall. These are the rules for our classroom. Okay, the kids would start out with regular stuff like raise your hand, and then they would start to get really legalistic. No licking your tongue at other people. No rolling your eyes. No spitting. I would hope not. Now, Sandy, which may or may not be her real name, Sandy had a different set of rules. Actually, Sandy only had one rule. It was, do unto others as you would have others do unto you. Sound familiar? Comes out of the book of Matthew in the Bible. And it worked just as well as any other rule. Well, it had simplicity going for it. And it worked because her one rule was God's rule. Now, today's kids, by which I mean anybody younger than I am, which is a lot of people, in academia, have created an anti-racist legalism to replace the old racist legalism. I'm not sure how much of an improvement that is really, although it was probably well intended and continues to be. But the old racist legalism would be, well, a black person meets a white person on the street and the white person addresses them by their first name and the black person says Mr. or Mrs. And those aren't the only rules. There were a whole bunch of them that I don't even know because I didn't live here. But they were to remind you that you were not on the same social level. Constant reminders. Now, how much better is Sandy's rule, God's rule? Unlike the legalistic rules, they don't change daily or hourly or by the minute. I mean, they've probably changed since I started this spiel. But they're good for all people at all times and in all places.